The year is 1979. The place, Didsbury, Manchester. Lynda Jones and her 2 children witnessed a UFO craft landing and traveling towards them. Lynda went closer to the hovering craft with bright orange lights. Lynda experienced some missing time. She also had burn marks on her face from the event. Later, she went under hypnosis to recall what kind of mystery she experienced. In the summer of 1979 at around 9 p.m., 36-year-old Lynda Jones and her 2 children, 5-year-old Christopher and 15-year-old Lisa, were walking along a river bank near Didsbury, Manchester, England. At this time, she advised, "It was a summer evening. We were walking along, and I had this wildflower book with me, and I was getting the children interested and asking them. We started playing a little game really to see what that one's called. See if you can identify it. You know that flower." And then my daughter said, Mom, we looked up and we saw this sort of rugby ball shape, which was just hurtling towards us at an angle. We sort of crouched in the long grass quickly to avoid it, because our first thought being it was an aircraft on fire. Goodness me, my life flashed in front of me when I saw this thing. My daughter was absolutely terrified. We then ran up the hill to see what was going on, and we saw this object, which was shaped like a crescent moon. Oh my God, it was physical. It was a physical object. I felt like I could have gone up and touched it. I felt myself sort of drawn to it. Well, really, I just wanted to have a closer look, probably curiosity, and I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was like a bad dream. My daughter called to me to come back. I didn't come back, and I don't actually remember going right up close to it. I got as close as I can, but it seemed to burn my face that the light was too bright. I have never seen anything like that in my life before that day, and have never seen anything since. We didn't look back. We just ran down the hill, and we ran as fast as we could. Lynda turned around. She could see the object was moving alongside them. She picked up her younger son and screamed at Lisa to keep running. They made their way across an area of grassland. As they did, though, their surroundings began to appear distorted. The grass, for example, suddenly appeared almost 6 feet tall, and what's more, it was folding down on itself, as if something was pressing down on it. Despite her fear and the fact the behavior of the grass was the strangest thing I have ever seen, Lynda continued running into it. Then, she could see their housing estate, still carrying Christopher and with Lisa only slightly behind her. The pair ran as fast as they could to their home, slamming the door shut behind them. Once inside, Lynda noticed Trevor was already home. He looked at her and asked, "What's wrong with your eyes?" When Lynda glanced into the mirror, she was shocked to see how red and swollen her eyes were, almost scaly. Then, she relayed what had just happened to her husband. Each of them would then draw pictures of the object while it was still fresh in their memory. It was only now that Lynda realized she couldn't account for around 90 minutes of time. The incident, which began at just after 9 p.m., was no longer than 10 minutes in length, including the time it took to run home. However, after being back inside 10 minutes, she realized it was now 10:50 p.m. A little over a year passed before Lynda began to delve back into the bizarre episode. However, in the winter of 1980, desperate to discover just what happened in those 90 minutes, she would undergo hypnotic regression. Hypnotist: "What's happening?" Lynda: "I'm watching the lights." As someone standing next to them in the field. Hypnotist: "Then what?" Lynda: "I'm floating. I'm in a room. There are 3 of them around me. 2 big almond-shaped ties. They're wearing jumpsuits of some kind. All in." Hypnotist: "What are they doing?" Lynda: shining a light in my face. Legs feel so cold. I see. End of hypnotic session. Lynda advised. I mean, I really can't believe. It's so hard to take on board that sort of thing. And I'm just a very ordinary, normal, down-to-earth human being. Definitely wasn't into that sort of thing. I didn't like anything about science fiction. I've never been interested in that sort of thing at all. So, I mean, the answer was why me? Why us on that day? I'm definitely not prone to imaginary things. And it was definitely not an optical illusion. I mean, it's pretty hard for one person maybe to have an optical illusion, but for 3 people at the same moment in time to have an optical illusion. I mean, the odds are pretty small on that, aren't they? Aftermath of incident. Lynda's menstrual cycle was randomly out of sync following the incident. Strange marks would appear on her body from out of nowhere, which would then also vanish just as quickly, sometimes within hours. She began to think there was a connection to the strange evening along the River Mersey. So much so that she would eventually visit her doctor. When he began speaking of her recent pregnancy and miscarriage following her examination, she was shocked, to say the least. She hadn't been pregnant since giving birth to her son. Determined in his assessment, Lynda would receive a referral to a specialist. They would confirm that scarring on her fallopian tubes was the result of a ectopic pregnancy. Lynda was again shocked with disbelief at the findings. She was determined that she hadn't suffered a miscarriage, much less an ectopic pregnancy, which is extremely painful and can be fatal if not treated. Truly bizarre incidents would occur in the years that followed the incident too. For example, several years after the encounter, she received a letter asking her to attend hospital for a test and examination. When she chased up results of this, the hospital had no records of her appointment or the doctor she had seen. She still receives these strange written requests for equally strange tests. She also has regular problems with her telephone connections and regular faults on the line. Another incident occurred with her husband in 1988 while driving back from Nottingham after visiting friends there. As they were making their way along the quiet country roads, on several occasions the car's headlights would fade almost to off before going back to full power. This caused Trevor to pull over to the side of the road, his visibility limited. His hope was to wait for a passing car and then follow it. Suddenly Trevor told Lynda to look up, and there in front and above was a large bright circular craft. It ascended slowly at first and shot upwards to nothing more than a dot with a second. A car drove past several moments later, causing them to put the sighting out of their minds as they followed the vehicle as it cut through the darkness in front of them. After several miles, though, the car just vanished, with the headlights seemingly working fine. Trevor continued, looking for a turning where the car might have gone. However, there was nothing but straight road. The couple also experienced 3 hours of missing time. My take. Lynda's face was badly burned from the UFO. This adds some credibility to her story. Hard to think of a reason why she would lie about this. Was the hypnotic regression information about the day of the incident or another time? What do you think? Source: Marcus Lowth at UFOinsight.com on February 25, 2019.